It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Respect is the currency of power. But in the modern world, men beg for it like dogs begging for scraps. They try to be liked. They try to be relatable. This is a mistake. To be dangerously respected, you must stop being a friend and start being a force. Today, we forge the iron crown of authority. On one side, Niccolò Machiavelli. He teaches that distance creates divinity and that to be respected, you must kill the intimacy that breeds contempt. On the other, Marcus Aurelius. He teaches that true authority comes not from hiding above men, but from standing unshakable among them. One demands respect through fear and mystery. The other commands it through character. Disclaimer: this debate explores social dynamics and power strategies. Use this knowledge to build authority, not to manipulate with malice. If you are ready to stop being ignored and start being obeyed, subscribe now. The debate begins.
Marcus, I see you sitting by the campfire with your soldiers, eating their bread, listening to their dull stories about their wives and their petty grievances. You think this makes you a father to the people. You think this endears you to them. I tell you, it makes you common, and what is common is cheap. The first step to dangerous respect is the death of intimacy. Familiarity breeds contempt. It is a law of nature as sure as gravity, and you defy it at your peril. If you let men see you sleep, if you let them see you doubt, if you let them see you bleed, they stop seeing a god and start seeing a man. And men do not respect other men, they compete with them. As soon as they realize you are made of the same meat and bone as they are, the seed of rebellion is planted. "Why him and not me?" they will whisper. "He tires just like I do. He bleeds just like I do." To be respected, you must create a distance, a vast, unbridgeable chasm between you and the mob. You must be an idol, visible enough to be worshipped, but too distant to be touched. Kill the desire to be understood. Kill the need to share your feelings. When you are impenetrable, they project their own fears onto you. They fill the void of your silence with their own terror. And fear, Emperor, is the grandfather of respect. Love is fickle, but fear is permanent.
You speak of respect, Niccolò, but you describe terror. You describe a hostage situation, not leadership. You build a pedestal so high that you cannot see the faces of those you rule. That is not authority, that is isolation. I sit with my soldiers not to be common, but to be real, to remind myself of who carries the weight of the empire. True respect is not a theatrical trick of lighting and distance. It is the recognition of superior character in the face of adversity. If I eat their bread, which is hard and stale, and yet remain the most disciplined man in the camp, my authority is multiplied, not diminished. They see that I am made of the same flesh, yet I choose to live by a higher code. That is dignity in proximity. It is easy to seem perfect when you are hiding in a palace, wrapped in silk and shadows. It is difficult to be perfect when you were in the mud, under the same rain. You fear intimacy because you fear they will see your flaws. You wear a mask because you are hollow inside. I have no need to hide. Let them see me. Let them see that even when I am tired, even when I am bleeding, I do not break. That earns a loyalty that your theatrical mystery can never buy. It earns a loyalty of the soul, not just the knee.
Loyalty? You speak of men as if they were dogs, capable of unconditional love. Men are ungrateful, fickle, pretenders. They are driven by self-interest and the wind of the moment. They will eat your bread today, laugh at your jokes, and stab you tomorrow if they lose their fear of you. You rely on their recognition of character. I rely on their inability to predict my next move. Look at the mechanics of desire. We only want what we cannot fully have. We only value what is scarce. If you give them all of yourself, your time, your thoughts, your presence, you have zero market value. You are flooded in the market. You become like the village well, useful, yes, but abused and taken for granted. I teach the prince to practice calculated absence. Withdraw, make them wonder where you are, make them feel the cold when the sun of your favor is gone. Create a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does the human mind. When you are absent, they talk about you, they speculate, they exaggerate your power. You grow larger in their minds than you could ever be in person. When you return, your presence is a gift, not a habit. It is an event. You are like the air, Marcus, necessary perhaps, but ignored because you are always there. You are background noise. I am like the storm, rare, terrifying, and impossible to ignore. When the storm comes, everyone stops, everyone watches.
And storms destroy the harvest, Niccolò. Air sustains life. You view human connection as a market of supply and demand. You reduce the soul to a commodity to be traded. Calculated absence is a game for insecure lovers who play hard to get, not for leaders of men. I do not withdraw to inflate my price. I withdraw only to commune with my own mind, to restore my reason, to wash away the dust of the court. And when I am present, I am fully present. I do not play games with my attention. There is a specific kind of respect that comes from reliability, the rock that does not move. Your mystery creates anxiety. Anxiety creates resentment. Men may bow to the storm, but they curse it in their hearts. They build shelter against it. They wait for it to pass. I want them to build their lives upon me, to trust that my word is iron, that my presence is a guarantee of justice. You play hide and seek with your subjects. I stand and deliver. The death of intimacy is the death of humanity. I can keep my heart without losing my crown. A leader who cannot look a man in the eye and hear his truth is a leader who is already blind.
Keep your heart, and they will eat it alive. They will carve it up and serve it at their banquets while they mock you. You talk of humanity, I talk of hierarchy. Hierarchy requires verticality, high and low, above and below. If you lower yourself to their level to connect, you flatten the hierarchy. You invite them to challenge you. A dangerous man does not have buddies. He has allies and he has subjects. The moment you start sharing your struggles with a subordinate, you have handed him a weapon. You have shown him where the armor plates have gaps. Oh, the emperor is sad today. The emperor is unsure. Do you think they empathize? No, they calculate. If he is unsure, perhaps it is time for a new emperor. Every time you laugh at a fool's joke, you sell a piece of your crown for a moment of comfort. You degrade yourself. You signal that you are easily amused, that your standards are low, that you are desperate for approval. Stop giggling. Stop oversharing. Stop trying to be one of the guys. Be the father. Be the judge. Be the distant mountain that they look up to with awe. Is it lonely? Yes, it is freezing cold at the summit. But the view from the summit is the only one worth having. The sheep huddle together for warmth. The lion walks alone.
The view from the summit is only beautiful if you have someone to share it with. Otherwise, it is just a view of your own emptiness. You mistake arrogance for strength. You mistake silence for wisdom. I do not lower myself. I elevate them. When I treat a man with respect, when I listen to him, I demand that he rise to meet me. I mirror his potential, not his baseness. I remind him that he too has a spark of the divine. You are right about one thing. I do not laugh at a fool's joke. But not to protect my mystery. I do not laugh because it is not funny. I do not need to fake a distance. My character creates the distance naturally. A man of substance does not need to hide in the shadows to appear deep. You are a performance art piece, Niccolò. You are a collection of stage tricks and smoke bombs. And eventually, the curtain falls, and the audience goes home. And you are left alone with your mask, unable to take it off because you have forgotten what your own face looks like. You protect your market value so fiercely because deep down you know that without the mystery you are bankrupt.
Better to be a bankrupt god than a solvent slave. You speak of character as if it were a shield. It is a target. The virtuous man is predictable, and the predictable man is dead. I manipulate the distance because I control the narrative. When you are too close, they see the sweat, they smell the human scent. The imagination is the most powerful force in the human mind. I let their imagination paint me as a giant. You let their eyes see you as a mortal. You trust their eyes. I trust their delusions. That is why history will remember you as a good man, but it will study me as a master. Goodness is forgotten. Power is studied. Go back to your campfire, Marcus. Share your bread. But do not be surprised when the knife that enters your back is held by the hand you just shook.
If the knife comes, it comes. I will accept it with the same grace I accept the bread. But until that day, I will live as a man among men, not a ghost among shadows. To live in constant fear of the knife is to die 1,000 times before you fall. I prefer to die once, having lived true, than to live forever in a prison of my own making. Your impenetrable fortress is a tomb, Niccolò, and you have buried yourself alive in it.
Look at the modern man. He is exhausted. He runs from obligation to obligation, doing favors he does not want to do for people he does not respect. He is a hamster in a wheel of his own making, sweating blood to buy the approval of ghosts. He thinks this makes him good. He thinks this makes him a team player or a martyr. I tell you, it makes him a servant, and a servant is never respected. He is only used. The second step to dangerous respect is the art of no. In economics, value is determined by scarcity. Air is vital, but it is free because it is everywhere. Diamonds are useless, but they are expensive because they are rare. You, Marcus, are trying to be air. You want to breathe life into everyone. I teach the prince to be a diamond, hard, cold, and rare. If you are always available, you are cheap. You are a commodity that sits on the shelf gathering dust because there is too much stock. To become dangerous, you must restrict the supply of your attention. Every time you say yes, you create a debt. You give away a piece of your power. The other person now owes you nothing. You have spent your credit. But when you say no, you create scarcity. You create a vacuum. You become the limited resource that they must fight to obtain. A man who says yes to everything is a man with no standards, no boundaries, and no spine. A man who says no is a man with a code. People respect the code more than they respect the accommodation. They might dislike the refusal in the moment, but they will respect the man who gave it. Because no signals that you have something more important to do. It signals that your time is high-value currency, and the world judges you by how you value yourself. If you sell yourself for pennies, they will buy you for pennies. You are right that the world punishes weakness, but you confuse generosity with baseness. You confuse the service of a king with the servitude of a slave. If the answer is no, then the refusal is automatic. It is not a negotiation. But I do not say no to manipulate the market value of my presence. I say no to protect the sanctity of my mind. Most of what we say and do is not essential. The gossip, the banquets, the endless meetings about nothing, the pursuit of fame. If you can eliminate it, you will have more time and more tranquility. You say no to make them beg. You say no to incite a hunger in them. I say no so I can say yes to things that actually matter.
I say yes to my duty. I say yes to reason. I say yes to the stillness required to think clearly. I do not care about market value. I care about the finite time I have left on this earth. Death stands behind us both, Niccolò. He does not care if you were a diamond or dust. To waste this fleeting moment pleasing a fool is a crime against nature. It is a theft. You are stealing the time given to you for a higher purpose and throwing it into the mud. My refusal is not a tactic. It is a necessity. A man who cannot say no to the world cannot say yes to his own soul. Nature does not pay the bills, Marcus. Leverage does. Nature does not protect you when the Senate plots against you. You speak of death as a reason to be authentic. I speak of death as a reason to be effective. Let's discuss the psychology of refusal. The modern man fears the word no because he fears rejection. He fears the awkward silence. He would rather suffer for hours doing a task he hates than suffer for 3 seconds saying the word no. This is cowardice, plain and simple. And the predators, people like me, we smell this cowardice. If I know you cannot say no, I will take everything from you, your time, your money, your energy. And I will not even thank you, because I know you did not give it freely, you gave it out of fear. But consider the golden no. When you refuse a request with absolute confidence, without apologizing, without making excuses, will you come to the feast? No. Why? Because I do not want to. That silence that follows, that is the sound of power shifting. You have just established that your desire is superior to their expectation. Every time you say yes, but with hidden resentment, you poison the well. You smile, you agree, but inside you are cursing them. This makes you a liar and a hypocrite. Saying no is cleaner, it is honest, it does not breed festering obligation. The iron boundary does not need to be spiked, it just needs to be solid. You must learn to disappoint people to their faces, to prevent resenting them behind their backs. On this we are aligned, though our spirits differ. The resentment you speak of is a cancer. It eats the vessel that holds it. To say yes when your soul screams no is to divide yourself. It is to create a civil war within your own breast. And a house divided against itself cannot stand. But your no is performative. It is a weapon. It is designed to wound or to dominate. My no is a statement of priority. It is a definition of the self. When a sculptor creates a statue, he does not add clay, he removes it. He says no to the unessential stone until only the truth remains. That is how I build my life, by chipping away the trivial obligations until only the emperor remains. When I say no to the vices of the court, to the gossip, to the corruption, I am dangerous to them. Not because I am withholding favors, but because I am a living mirror of their own lack of discipline. They hate my no because it exposes their inability to control themselves. If Marcus can sleep on the floor, if Marcus can refuse the wine, if Marcus can decline the bribe, what excuse do they have? That is the respect I seek, not the respect of a dog for its feeder, but the respect of a mortal for the truth. Say no to everything that is not you, and you will become dangerous indeed. Dangerous? You are merely irritating to them. They call you a stoic bore. You miss the aggressive potential of the refusal. A refusal can be a negotiation tactic. If they ask for gold, say no. Watch them lower their demands. Watch them compromise. If they ask for your alliance, say no. Watch them offer you more land, more titles, more power to change your mind. The no is the lever that pries open the treasury of the world. People value what they have to work for. If you hand yourself over on a platter, they will eat you and forget the taste. If you make them hunt for you, if you make them climb the mountain of your rejection, when they finally get a yes, they will prize it like a holy relic. This is not about unessential stone. This is about making sure that when you do speak, your voice thunders. A man who speaks rarely is listened to. A man who agrees rarely is valued. Be the obstacle, Marcus, not the path. I am not an obstacle. I am a constant. To use no as a lever for more gold is the tactic of a merchant, not a sovereign. It implies that your no is for sale, that if they just offer enough, the no becomes a yes. That is corruption. That is weakness disguised as strength. My no is not for sale. It is structural. It is the wall that holds up the roof. If I sell the wall, the house collapses. You want them to prize your yes. I want them to understand my duty. There is a freedom in having nothing to sell, Niccolò. When they realize that no amount of flattery, fear, or gold can change your mind, they stop trying to manipulate you. And then, for the first time, you can have an honest conversation. You are obsessed with the game. I am obsessed with the exit. The art of no is the art of exiting the game of validation. Let them call me boring. Let them call me rigid. While they dance to the music of opinion, I stand still. And in that stillness, I find a power that your manipulative leverage can never touch. The power of a man who owns himself. A man who owns himself but has no influence is a hermit, not a ruler. But perhaps there is utility in your rigidity. A man who cannot be bought is a man who can be trusted or feared absolutely. In a world of whores, the virgin is a threat. So let us agree on the mechanism, if not the motive. The word no is the sword that cuts the strings of the puppet master. Whether you use it to buy silence or to buy power, use it. Stop apologizing. Stop explaining. Stop justifying. Look them in the eye, deliver the negative, and embrace the power of the vacuum. For it is in that empty space that your true authority is born.
We arrive at the final gate of authority, the most powerful weapon in the arsenal of the dangerous man. It is not what he says, it is what he does not say. The third step to dangerous respect is the sovereign's silence. Look at the fool. He spills his guts. He cannot bear the weight of a secret, nor the pressure of a quiet room. He tells you his plans, his fears, his opinions on the weather, and his grievances against his wife. He is an open book, and because he is open, he is readable, and because he is readable, he is conquerable. There is no mystery to him. You know exactly where to strike him, because he has shown you his armor and his flesh. To be respected, you must become a void, a black hole in the center of the room that absorbs light but reflects nothing. My law is simple. Always say less than necessary. Even when you know the answer, keep it locked behind your teeth. When you speak, you reveal your limitations. You define the edges of your intellect. If you say something stupid, it is out there forever. If you say something brilliant, you have set a standard you must maintain. But when you are silent, you appear profound. You appear limitless. People are creatures of projection. If you give them a blank canvas, they will paint their own fantasies upon it. They will assume you are smarter than you are. They will assume you are plotting something vast. Louis XIV would listen to his ministers outline complex problems for hours. He would sit stone-faced while they argued and sweated. And at the end, he would simply say, "I shall see," and walk away. He terrified them. They did not know if he agreed or disagreed. They did not know if they were promoted or condemned. They went home and obsessed over his silence. They analyzed every blink, every shift of posture. By saying nothing, they occupied their minds completely. You must starve them of information. Let them project their own genius onto your blank canvas. Let them tremble in the uncertainty. Uncertainty is the soil in which respect grows.
You value silence as a mask for ignorance. I value silence as the sanctuary of the soul. But on the effect, we agree. A man of many words is rarely a man of great character. The more a man speaks, the less he thinks. It is a simple ratio. However, Niccolò, your silence is a trick. It is tense. It is a gotcha game played by a paranoid courtier. You stay quiet so you can catch them in a trap. You stay quiet because you are afraid to reveal your own lack of substance. My silence comes from gravitas. The reason I speak less is not to confuse others, but because most things are not worth saying. Look at the chatter of the court. Gossip, complaints, idle speculation, flatteries. This is the vomit of the mind. Why should I add to the pile? To speak only the truth, and only when it improves upon the silence, that creates a weight that cannot be faked. When a man who rarely speaks finally opens his mouth, the room stops. They listen. Not out of fear of what he is hiding, but out of respect for what he has weighed. They know that if Marcus speaks, it is because it is necessary. It is because the thought has been tempered in the fire of reason. You want them to fear your mystery. I want them to value my judgment. One is the tactic of a sorcerer. The other is the attribute of a king.
Judgment is fine, but fear is faster, and fear lasts longer. You speak of tempering thoughts. I speak of controlling the dynamic. Let's look at the mechanics of the void. Humans cannot stand silence. It makes them anxious. It reminds them of the grave. It reminds them of being judged. If you stay silent during a negotiation, the other side will keep talking. They will feel the urge to fill the air. They will start bidding against themselves. They will reveal their weak spots just to break the tension. Is the price too high? We can lower it. Are you unhappy with the terms? We can change them. All you did was stare at them, and they surrendered their position. This is the power of the predator. The lion does not roar when it is hunting. It is silent. Only the dog barks at everything it sees. You, Marcus, you are too honest. You are too transparent. If you disagree, you say it. If you're angry, you show it. You think this is virtue. I tell you, it is a strategic error. You give them the map to your mind. I say, keep your face a mask of stone. Let them guess. If they think you are a fool, let them. Then, when they are off guard, you strike. If they think you are a genius, let them. Do not open your mouth and remove the doubt. Silence makes you appear larger than you are. It hides the fact that you are just a man with doubts and fears. It turns you into an oracle, a statue that sees all but says little. And men worship statues, Marcus. They do not worship their buddies.
It turns you into a fraud. If you need silence to hide your incompetence, you are not dangerous. You are merely deceitful. You are like a student who stays quiet in class hoping the teacher doesn't call on him. That is not power. That is hiding. The truly dangerous man is the one who can speak the plain, unvarnished truth and stand by it. I do not need to let them bid against themselves. I state my terms, take them or leave them. That is ultimate power, to have no need for games, to have no need for leverage. This is what I believe, this is what I will do, oppose me if you dare. Your silence is defensive. It is a shield you cower behind. My silence is offensive. It is a sword that cuts through the noise of the world. You create a vacuum of anxiety. I create a presence of stability. In the long run, men will die for the stable ruler. They will only work for the anxious tyrant until they find a way to kill him.
They flock to the calm to slaughter it. Peace is for the grave. Life is struggle. Life is war. You call it a fraud. I call it theatricality. You cannot separate power from performance. The prince is an actor on a stage, and the world is the audience. If you are too accessible, too honest, too plain, you become part of the furniture. You become predictable, and the predictable man is easily maneuvered. Oh,
Marcus will do the honorable thing, so I will trap you in a situation where the honorable thing leads to your ruin. To be dangerously respected, you must be unpredictable. Silence preserves unpredictability. Words define you, and once you are defined, you are confined. He is a Stoic. He is a Republican. He is a Christian. Once I label you, I own you. I refuse to be confined. I remain the shadow in the corner that no one can quite make out. Am I a friend? Am I an enemy? Am I a fool? Am I a genius? They do not know, so they watch me. They fear me. They respect me. That is the essence of power, to be the unknown variable in their equation.
They watch you because they don't trust you. And a leader without trust is just a warden in a prison. You have inmates, not subjects. You build a kingdom of shadows where everyone is looking over their shoulder. I build a kingdom of light where men can see the path. Yes, words define us, and I am happy to be defined by truth, justice, and temperance. If that makes me predictable, then let me be predictable. The sun is predictable. It rises every morning. Does that make it weak? No, it makes it absolute. Let my words be few, but let them be iron. When I say I will protect you, they know it is true. When I say you will be punished, they know it is coming. That is not confinement. That is integrity. Go ahead, Niccolò. Hide in your silence. Wrap yourself in your theatrical mystery. But remember, the man who has nothing to say will eventually be forgotten. The man who speaks wisdom echoes in eternity. I do not want their fear. I want their strength, and strength respects only strength. Be silent, not to hide, but to hear. That is the way of the emperor. You try to be a ghost. I will be the mountain. And ghosts vanish when the sun rises. The mountain remains.
The dust settles. Two paths lie before you. Machiavelli offers you the path of the shadow monarch, a strategy of calculated absence, rigid hierarchy, and the tactical use of silence to generate fear and awe. Marcus offers you the path of the iron stoic, a strategy of unshakable essentialism, where respect is not demanded through games, but commanded through the sheer weight of your character and consistency. One creates a legend, the other creates a legacy. Now the choice is yours. Who did you identify with most? With the calculated dominance of Machiavelli or with the quiet strength of Marcus? Comment your allegiance below. Like the video if you want more debates. Choose your side.